Hello, it's Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery, and it seems to me I am fairly well hooked on my new discovery, which is probably not very different than a lot of other people's discoveries, but my new discovery has to do with biscuit cutters and bracelets, which is probably what I'll call this video. In the meantime, there's my OXO omelet turning spatula, and today I'm going to try and get as much white paint on here in the quickest amount of time possible, which is why I love this spatula so much. Glasses? Yes, I have them. Oh, life is good. Anyway, I just came back from Michael's where there was a good sale on canvases, and they had 18 by 24s for $7. And there are only 2 packages of those. There are three in a package. It's unusual. Usually there's 2. And this particular time there was a dent in one when we got to the register, and I decided to go ahead and grab it anyway. She gave me 10% off, that was nice, but it had a substantial dent in it. Not a cut, not a slice, just a dent. And what I did was I came home and I poured rubbing alcohol on the back where the dent was and surrounding areas, to be honest with you. And at that point in time, I left it in the sun. And when I came back, it was 100% recovered. So there's a trick for all of you who want to know how to repair a dented canvas when it's not been painted on yet. And honestly, it might actually have some value if you are painting, if you already have a painted canvas and you have a dent. Rubbing alcohol on the back. I have a stretcher bar and I can see that it's showing through, so I hope I'm right about my my bragging rights there. You can see stuff in my white paint. I could have used a lot more paint. It's a little dark right now. It's getting late in the afternoon, and I had a lot of other chores to do in the studio, uploading videos and editing pictures and so on and so forth. But I really enjoyed what I did recently, which was using the biscuit cutters, and I'm going to try and make that tile fit. I'm going to throw my spatula in the bucket. When you have a bucket of water, you really want to throw your water outside in the yard, because it will coat your pipes, and then you will have a problem, like somebody mentioned to me when they said they called the plumber. So I'm going to do the outside ring first this time, and I want gold and black. And I made the mistake yesterday on my second attempt of overfilling these rings. So I would have to say it's a very good idea to not overfill the rings. I think I want an entirely different color in there. Ooh, that's kind of sexy. Let's throw a little white in there because I can. I'm trying to keep my colors different. I don't know if I can force myself into that or not. Okay, so that's my first ring. So let's go to my second ring and see if I can manage to keep myself on the straight and narrow. It's a tough call. It's not probably very likely, but I'm going to give it a shot. That's the Prussian blue I like. No, it isn't. That's the dark purple I like. That was the Prussian blue I like. And I did have to mix it up from, I want something lighter in there. Yep, that's working for me. What else? I just pulled out some. There it is, metallic blue. I can't put too much more in there because I'll be risking overfilling it. And the reason why overfilling it is a problem is because when you overfill it, then, is that the, oh no, good, it's not the same color. Then when you tip, when you're holding on to something, it becomes a problem because it spills out. Not anything that anybody really wants to have happen. Alright, so I still have some more orange. Ooh, that's dark. I think I shook that. I don't think you can have too much gold, so I'm going to give it some more gold anyway, and I have a different shade of gold, which doesn't hurt my feelings any. And white will often make catalysts, as will black, but you know what? I think I'm going to break my rule and throw some of that Prussian blue in there, because I added Deco-Art pouring medium to it, and what the heck. Now, I wanted this to be submerged, and what would have been a really good idea is if I had added my paint as soon as I put those biscuit cutters down. The only way to get submerged is to use a large puddle of paint, which is probably why I wasn't thinking too clearly when I began this, that I didn't put an excess amount of paint on, because I knew that this would be the case. I'm going to try and get everything out of the way. I think I'll use the bracelets another time, but they will work in a very similar way. So if you only have bracelets, that's a good place to start. I'm not sure where to get biscuit cutters. I evidently saved these a long time ago. So basically it looks like what I'm doing is mixing paint. I did this a little differently yesterday. And what I did first, I'm going to do again. I'm going to throw that. I hate wasting paint. Even at the risk of the design. I'm going to throw that in the bucket. And then see how far we can tip what we've got. And see if holding, oh, see, I still use too much again. And when I get a space like that space you can see the white falling into, you can fill it with something else. I'm going to scrape my fingers off. I have a wet rag handy all the time to wipe paint off with. I'm hoping that this will be alright. I like to use up paint and I store it in little containers. And I'm going to stir that up with my Princeton Catalyst spatula, because I can see that there's two different colors in there. And I'm just sort of winging it as I go along. I can't tip any further than the paint will go, or I'll spill it, like we just saw. And I think I could have used a thicker layer of white to be sure, just based on the fact that things aren't moving as well as I would like them to. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did, whether it's the right thing to do or not. Clean off my hands. Too good to be true. I think it was. Yeah, I think when filling the biscuit cutters, I would probably only fill them maybe 20 to 30%. I would like most of that to go that way without spilling too much out of that biscuit cutter. But if I break the seal, I'll lose even more paint than I've already lost. And I know I can do something with this, so I'm just going to let it go. Ha 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 ha. That way. I'd like to just let it go that way while I rinse this biscuit cutter out. I'm going to take the paint first, though. I knew that there was going to be a learning curve, and I would need to experiment with this before I really got it to do what I wanted it to do. I think I'm going to let that continue to flow that way and grab an edge catcher that I evidently decided to remove all of. Oh, there they are. Good. Yay! And I'm not going to hurt this one by using it. There is a stretcher bar on the back of the 18 by 24 inch canvases, which I happen to be a big fan of. And I am thinking, because I don't see an excess of paint, and usually that's not a problem, that I may actually do what I love to do and pull out my squeeze bottles and just augment the pattern with something wonderful. Let's give this a shot. These bottles are great to reuse, but they usually clog. Yeah, that's a great color for me. Now, I've got tubing, I've got spatulas. I've got a willful nature, and I'll do what I want. And that timer's in the way, and it just told me I have 10 minutes left. I try and give myself an extra minute to tell you guys everything I want to tell you. Alright, I want to tip that down toward me, but I'm going to tip it toward you so you can see what's going on to the best of my ability. Yeah, let's let it all spread down toward the middle. It's not really centering the paint, but it is moving it. Now I'm going to squeeze that back over. let it pool at the bottom, and I'm going to throw it right back on the canvas. And I'm really happy that didn't turn muddy. And I'm going to let it come down towards center and hope that we can make what I want to have happen in the time I have before the paint sets up any more than it already has. But the truth is, I can always add squeeze bottles of paint and swipe it out or blow it out with my medical tubing. I like these biscuit cutters because I get 3 very distinctive different mixes of paint, which I kind of really enjoy. Alright, let's see what I got and do some more with it. I like this. And paint flows to paint. I talk about this all the time. Floetrol clogs my tips. And sometimes I remember to clean them out. Sometimes I don't. And this is one of those don't moments. Out you go. Okay. Evidently we're using what we've got. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a hold of this Prussian blue again, because I really like it. And I seldom, if ever, use a palette knife. Maybe I shouldn't now either. Never mind. Hopefully you can see some of that. I don't mind striations or the miscellaneous marks. I do expect to be adding some more colors. I don't mind pulling some paint and swiping it out. Or going into that white. Doesn't bother me either. Or scraping off my spatula on the edge of the canvas and then using my finger. So let's see what, if anything, I want. You know, I don't see any yellow in there, and it occurs to me that I probably didn't put any in there. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and be obnoxious and hope I can get away with it. And use my, oh, I got lots of paint over there. I think I'm going to stick it right there in that corner. Clean my hands off again so I can tip. I like the solid colors from the squeeze bottles because they have such a nice contrast to everything else that's going on. It's sort of cartoony to me somehow. And then there's also my bamboo skewers. I have been longing, I gotta tell you, to just go ahead at some point in time and use as many techniques as possible in one piece. And hopefully get away with it. Alright, I like a lot of the lacing that I've got going there. And I remember that I have white paint underneath, so I can actually move. I'm going to wipe that skewer off. We got 5 minutes left, so we have kind of sort of enough time, and maybe not. And I love that pink, and I haven't had nearly enough of it. And I think I'm going to probably use the skewer. And I don't mind that there's some blue paint still left on here. Or that everything is mixing up. I am going to let some of it run over the side and touch the edges with that color. And I love the randomness of those swipes. They're just gorgeous. I haven't completely made up my mind if I did the right thing in that other area yet. What else do I want to do? I like the black and I want some more of it. I don't know if I'll get away with everything I'm up to, but you never know until you try. I also can drag my skewers, if I'm lucky. And as long as the paint is very wet, it will heal itself Yeah, that adds some interest that I wanted. Keep wiping off my skewer and tell you, since we're getting to be close to that time, let me check, yeah, 3 minutes, that if you want to see the artworks created on YouTube, there's a link at the bottom of the description under Show More on my YouTube videos. It's a Facebook album. It will take you to the wet and dry artworks. When they're posted, that's where they go. So you can see them. I got a few things that I don't need in the way. I'm not super sure about that yellow, but it is kind of exciting. I have a color I wouldn't mind adding to it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Much happy. Ha! What am I going to do with it? I am going to bring... I have a lot of these Princeton Catalyst spatulas. You can order them on the internet if you know what they're called. They're called art tools. I'm going to be careful while I dip these to not get too muddy. And I think sometimes the best thing to do with that, if you're avoiding mud, is to just skewer, because it doesn't have a chance to mix much of it. Okay, so far so good. Still cleaning off my skewer to avoid mud. Looking around to see if we're going to come back for a part 2. I'm liking this up here, but I want more drama. Like it needs it, right? So we're just going to give that a shot. Right over the edge. I like the way this Prussian blue and the black mix together. And I think I'm just going to go for it. Let's see what happens. Do I want just that? I want some of this. Yeah, sells nice. We had some nice lacing. I like that there. So there's Pinterest down there below Show More under the video. There's also Patreon and PayPal if you can afford to help me. I don't have any income for the studio, and I would love to be able to continue painting, and in order to do so I need some income. And I'm hoping to put out a book, but we don't have much information about how that's going yet. We're hoping for Christmas, but it's only going to be maybe an ebook this year anyway. I have quite a bit of paint on this canvas, and the trick to that is to use the GAC 800 that I put in every color that I use, because it prevents cracking. Just so you need to know that. Actually, you need to know that. No, just so. You absolutely do. I'm getting close to something that I like. I haven't torched yet, and I have 34 seconds left. I might have another minute. So I'm not sure where you're going to be when I'm done. But this is Priscilla in Spring Hill, Florida, at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery, trying not to knock my stuff on the floor, on the ground. And not pick anomalous colors. That's different. That just makes me want to do something entirely different there. I don't know how much of this you can see. I suspect not enough. There's my warning bell. So anything I haven't told you is that there's an Amazon link directly below the video most of the time, and that will help me out immensely if you buy stuff. Little by little it adds up, and it's very helpful at no additional cost to you, and it says so right there. Kind of feel like I should have tipped one more time, but I'm having fun. We should be coming back in a minute, but I don't have any guarantee of that right now. So I'm going to say